The dog is coming through very loud.
Yeah, your puppy is extremely loud.
I mean, he's going to be. I just took him out. He's awake now, and he wants attention.
Puppy.
Yeah. It's a pup, not a feature. If it hadn't been for Beautiful Joe, I'd have been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Henshin a go-go. Beautiful Joe. This is episode 365 of Insert Credit, a podcast which now has a canonical episode for every day of the year. That's a lot of horrible buzzers. I'm Alex Jaffe, and my first home on the internet was the community message board for Bob and George, a Mega Man sprite comic that was not actually funny, despite being a humor comic. I don't think it had a joke in it. But I was there every day.
Wow. So you're saying there was a Mega Man sprite comic in the early internet days, and it wasn't funny? This was
the early Mega Man sprite comic, Frank.
Wow.
I think this might have been the first one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Frank Cifaldi. Hi. My first home on the internet. Gosh, I think I was kind of all over the place. You know what? The first place that I kind of hung out with like emulator people, and I'd say that kind of launched the rest of it, was on the even though I never owned a Sega Master System, the SMS Power forums. Our friend Omar Cornut's website. That's kind of where I got my start.
I'm Ash Parrish, and my first home on the internet was either fanfiction.net, which kind of doesn't count because it's not like a community place, or it was, I wasn't really a big internet person because I didn't get steady, regular access to the internet until I was in college. The internet was a toy when I was growing up. We didn't have a desktop computer until I was 16. And it wasn't connected to the internet all of the time. We had to run a cord because the computer was in my room, but I had no phone jack in my room, but there was a phone jack in my mother's room. And so I had to run this 10-foot long phone cables from my room to her room to connect to the internet. And she didn't really like that when she was home. So the whole want to keep the phone lines open and things like that. So I didn't have regular access to the internet until I was in college. And then I would have to say my home on the internet was the World of Warcraft Warlock forums. That was the first place that I can think of where I actually interacted with other people instead of just being on the internet.
Okay. I want to know, is that the World of Warcraft forum? I have no idea. Or were there competing
the World of
one?
Warcraft message boards. Yeah. The official ones. And there was and I was a warlock, so I hung out with the warlocks, and there was this daily board at work crew thread that I would participate in when I was at the circulation desk for when I was working at the biology library at Purdue University.
Which class did the warlocks have the most beef with?
We hated every class, all the damage classes, because they always consistently out damaged us, and everybody didn't shat on warlocks because they didn't do enough damage. But then, around Burning Crusade, Affliction Warlocks, which was my spec, got a nice little bump in whatever happened. And then we were starting to creep up the damage charts, and people were really excited about that.
I'm so happy for you.
I was happy for me too.
Yeah, I know.
My first home on the internet, we hated everyone else.
Yeah, well,
That's what it's for.
I'm Brandon Sheffield. My first home on the internet was probably a Neo Geo Pocket forum that I joined in the late 90s when the Neo Geo Pocket started to exist. And I think there's only 2 of the people that were regulars on that forum that I haven't met in real life. There weren't very many of us to start with, but we still sometimes go there. It's been going for 26 years or something like that. So yeah, I know all those people, and it was nice. We talked about the Neo Geo Pocket and then other things, and then forums fell out of use and don't go there so much anymore, but still keep in touch with those people. It's nice.
Is that why your dog's named Pocket?
No, that's actually because my partner had while falling asleep, had the revelation that his name should be Pocket. But then she said it could be like Neo Geo Pocket if you want. I said it doesn't have to be.
You know what? That's a good partner. Comes up with I bet I can come up with a way this relates to you.
If you need some headcanon for this, honey, it's okay.
Yeah.
I will provide it. You guys are going to make it. I believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
The credit score on this episode, Ash has 1, Frank has 1. You can cash those in to introduce your own questions, to extend questions, or if you collect enough of them, force us all to play a game. I'm also going to say, in old tradition, if you collect 10, you get to host an episode yourself, and the episode can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, then you get to do extra work.
Yeah.
Incentive.
Here's our first topic. This one is for Brandon. Brandon,
Yeah, that's me.
2 years ago on the Insert Credit Show, when Microsoft bought Blizzard Activision, you proposed something that would be really funny that Sony could do to retaliate. Do you remember what that was?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I don't remember, but is it I don't think I said buying Kadokawa, which is what they're rumored to do, but what did I say?
You said that Sony should retaliate by buying From Software.
Oh, right. Yes. I guess that is what I said. Yeah. And
You just didn't consider who their owner was.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
joke. Yeah.
This is your fault, then.
It's my fault. It's my fault. I did say it would be funny. I didn't mean it would be funny, though. It's actually, I think consolidation is bad, and it should not be happening. Yeah, if Sony buys Kadokawa, which is what the rumors are talking about right now, it'll be a big deal because they not only own a bunch of manga and anime rights and book rights, books especially. They also own the majority share in From Software and Spike Chunsoft,
yeah.
And a bunch of real estate
Acquire?
ventures. Yeah, Acquire. I always, I thought Acquire was under Spike Chunsoft, but I don't even know anymore.
I don't think they are, but yeah. I that was a new one. I knew about From Software and Spike Chunsoft. Acquire was new to me, and I didn't recognize that developer name, and I didn't realize that was the Octopath Traveler people, so that's fun.
Yeah, Acquire is like Tenchu, historically. Tenchu, the ninja games and such.
Don't worry, I don't know Tenchu either.
Okay.
You don't know Tenchu, Frank?
I know Tenchi.
I remember it being the name of
I
something.
know Tencent.
I want to say on like the PS2 or something.
Yeah.
So the original Tenchu on PS1 was like a big deal. Activision published it. It was very like
Yeah, I think of Tenchu as the game that's not Shinobi.
it was a stealth-based ninja game, but you could run along the rooftops and infiltrate the daimyo's personal quarters and assassinate him without anybody seeing you, or you could do it another way. You could attack everybody. It had like options. The options weren't as multitudinous as you get today, but they were impressive for the time. And then the Tenchu series came back into focus in the, I believe, Wii era, when there were some cat missions where you played as a cat ninja. So yeah, Tenchu's been around. Tenchu's a thing. It's
I want to know
notable.
about the cat ninja. So
Yeah, that was
is the
interesting.
cat, is it doing like anthropomorphic things that a cat couldn't do? Or
No,
or,
it's cat style cat.
okay.
Oh, we're talking full on Stray.
Yeah.
And like the moves are like climb, swipe, not like jump kick.
Right. Well, it's a ninja cat, so it can do like a jump in like a circle in the air kind of a thing, Like
Okay.
it's
I accept that as still cat.
yeah,
Okay.
it's like a
But it's not like throwing stars or anything like that.
as far as I'm aware, no, because I only watched videos about it. I didn't play it.
Okay.
But I don't think it shoots out kibbles or anything like that at people. That's the kind of stars a cat would have.
I mean, I'm hoping that Sony treats the Soul series with the same care and respect they have the Sony Spider-Man villain movies. If they bring that level of quality, I think we're in for a good time.
Yeah, I hope that they treat it with the same level of care they treated the original Demon Souls release, which they thought was not good enough to release in the United States.
Oh boy.
Have we done what is the Morbius of video games?
It's actually been on my list for a long time to talk about what is the Sony Spider-Man universe of video games. You want to spend your credit, Frank?
No.
Okay.
Aw.
Because it's not Morbin time then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hope it doesn't happen, and I also hope that some of the other big conglomerates get broken up. That's what I think would be cool.
You know it's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it's going to happen if they want it to. It could not happen because of factors unrelated to monopoly oriented stuff. It could not happen because something falls through or somebody's brother doesn't get scratched the right way.
Let's stop talking in euphemisms.
Kadokawa likes taking money from people. Like Tencent has a ownership in them too.
Yeah, but Sony could absolutely decide, you know what? We don't want to spend any money buying something. Like they could just randomly, they could just decide, no, actually, never mind. We're not going to. It happens all the time.
They won't do that.
We'll see.
Well, what do you think is going to happen, Ash?
I think that I'm going to have a lot of work to do in the next 2 weeks as I try to explain exactly everything Sony buys when they eventually swallow Kadokawa whole. I mean, somebody at Sony listened or heard Brandon put that out in the ether and we need to buy something too big like Microsoft did. So it's going to unhinge his jaw and swallow Kadokawa whole. And they're going to have a monopoly on the anime and manga industry. So that'll be fun. That's what I think, unfortunately. Because that's the world we live in.
What I'm thinking about is what they have also acquired is George R.R. Martin's phone number. What are they going to do with that?
They're going to call him and he's not going to answer.
They're just going to sell it to scammers and make 50 cents on the call.
So remember when Disney was rumored to be buying Fox and people were like, yes, this is good because now X-Men can be
in the Marvel universe. Yeah.
Is there an equivalent of that happening with this right now where people are like, yes.
Yeah, finally Parappa Dark Souls.
These characters can be in Sony's fighting games or whatever.
Yeah. The next Kingdom Hearts is going to have an Elden Ring world.
I don't think they're thinking about it from that kind of multiverse perspective.
No.
I don't think, PlayStation All-Stars is going to get the Danganronpa kids or whatever to show up.
Thank you for remembering the name that I couldn't remember. I appreciate it.
It's going to get people were hesitantly excited about it because they were like, okay, finally, that's how we get Bloodborne at 60 FPS. That's the length of their thinking on this.
They could just fund that right now. They don't need to own it.
They don't need to own it to make that happen.
Yeah, but From Software has apparently expressed no interest in doing anything like that. So
yeah.
Well, it's time for our Jeff Keighley topic. At what point is a game's DLC worth judging as its own entity?
When it's Elden Ring. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, let's be clear here. This only happens because Jeff Keighley has his tongue up Hidetaki Miyazawa's ass. That's just the only reason why. And to be fair, yes, that was a good DLC. I don't really understand why there's such a hang up about it. It's DLC. Yes, that means you need to own the base game or whatever, but it has significantly transformed Elden Ring as an entity, and I think that means enough for it to be considered for something. Maybe, we can meet in the middle and have a best DLC category or something like that. But it's a video game. It's a new product that came out this year. It is significantly transformative. Why shouldn't it be considered?
Yeah, I guess I would say if I'm taking this seriously and not being glib about it, I don't feel like DLC, unless it is standalone, is technically a game of the year because it is not a game of that year. It is an add-on to a game of a prior year. Since you can't buy it by itself, it is not in itself a game. It is a part of a game. For me, that's where I land on it. I don't really care as far as the Game Awards go because
let's establish first of all that none of us care.
None of us care about the Game Awards.
Okay.
Ash, do you care about the Game Awards?
I only care in respect of the fact that it is my job and I have to care. I'm literally paid to care.
Okay,
you're one of the 4 people on the internet who makes money to care about the Game Awards.
I think it's fun to. I like the Game Awards though. I like watching all the advertisements in a row. I get to find out what's coming for the next year. Sort of, kind of. It's a little less that way now, but it was like that. We don't have E3. I got to have something where I can be like, here's all the things.
We diverge here because my worst nightmare is being trapped in an E3 press conference from Microsoft or something and watching 5 first-person shooter trailers in a row.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I hate that.
I love those. I love those experiences because it forces you to realize what they want you to want.
Yeah.
It's otherwise I'm just going to ignore it. So I kind of appreciate those.
Yeah,
times.
and then before you know it, you're spending 15 minutes watching a trailer for a game that's going to be canceled 2 weeks after it's released.
The Game Awards are fun only in that it is fun to get in a place and talk about them with other people. Like the
Mm-hmm.
actual event themselves, like I could give less than a shit about. Like I said, I have to care about it because it's my job. But the thing that I derive pleasure from, the Game Awards or Summer Games Fest or any of like these like pressers that happen is I enjoy talking about them with other people. So like in that respect, they're cool. I don't really mind them. But like as an arbiter of the quality of video games that have come out, in any particular year, no, like of course not. Like no, nobody should take these seriously. Like that's what the DICE Awards are for. That's like the actual Emmys of video games.
That makes sense.
I want to counter what Brandon said though, because I think that's a perspective that's may not survive forever. That games are distinct products that are, I think there needs to be a place for this kind of thing. And,
I agree.
And I think we need to be open to the idea that something like this is the new norm, and that rather than making, a sequel, a game company might make a content pack or something
most improved.
I think of something like Fortnite. Fortnite is not the same game.
Well, there are some events that have a best live game, and that is like what live game did the best stuff this year, not did it come out this year. But when you have
but I mean, like my point is that a lot of companies will basically put in the same work as making a new SKU, to put it in retailer terms, right? But it just happens to not be a distinct product, and I don't think that's a way to judge art. But then again, we're talking about the Game Awards where there is no art. So
right.
Well, I agree with you, except that I think that's its own category. I don't think it's a game of a specific year.
I think making it its own category is the same as saying best indie game, and in that it makes no sense after. Like, what is indie? What is expansion?
What is best?
I don't know if you played the Elden Ring expansion or DLC, Frank, but like, well, I didn't either. So I'm speaking from a place of ignorance here. But perhaps if it is a large, fully fledged, transformative experience, then maybe it deserves to be Game of the Year. But it's, I don't know.
As the person who played, I'm pretty sure that the only one on the panel has actually played it. Yeah, it is. As in terms of DLC as that goes, it's like it's on the same level as Miles Morales. Like it's not a standalone thing, but it's big enough. It is transformative enough. It's good enough where it's like, okay, it makes sense for this.
Okay.
So Miles Morales is what I had on mind too, because it's like they could have decided to make that DLC and then just suddenly it's not a game. You know what I mean? But because the pathway to purchase on the PlayStation Store is top level and not, you know what I mean? Like that's the distinction for what's worthy of an award or for being its own product.
Ash, let me ask you, as someone who's played a lot of World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV, how would you categorize like major expansions? Are they their own games?
Yeah, I think they're different experiences, and they are significantly transformative. And that, to me, that's my bar to clear.
Can you? This is a gray area thing, but
I understand the philosophical like hang-ups that are going on with like classification and all of that stuff. Like those kinds of details really don't matter to me, honestly. So I know they matter to other people, and I know they matter probably specifically to game developers. But like as a person who, at least in this regard, is like looking at it as in terms of a general consumer, like this is different enough. So why do we have to fight about the distinctions? I guess
the reason I feel the need to draw the line is because, say, any sort of expansion or live game or expansive experience is viable, then we have the same scenario that we have on Steam, where the top 10 games are always the same ones. Like Fortnite is always going to be, not always, but for a long time will continue to be one of the most played games. So will Final Fantasy XIV, so will Among Us and stuff. And they're going to continue to release expansions and packs and stuff. And so if the game of the year is those same 4 games 5 years in a row, it could be correct, but it's not interesting.
I think it's a bit different for that, because just because these games are played widely doesn't mean that they're of quality that deserves that kind of consideration. We are considering Shadow of the Erd Tree because specifically it's quality, not because it's a super popular game, right?
Well, no, I think also because it is like a separate thing, but there are like modes to Fortnite that get added that are transformative, that are different, that change a lot, and you could make the same argument for them, I would say, as you could for this DLC. I don't know. I think because it's possible to argue for those, that's why I think there should be some greater distinction. Like a Final Fantasy XIV expansion could become Game of the Year.
It should have been Endwalker.
But then we do wind up with the most, because the most popular games are getting the most money and thus the most resources. They're getting the most put into them versus new games. And so then there is the potential for new games to get squeezed out of being in any new category, which is very odd.
Okay.
I'm just saying it could get to that depending if there are no lines drawn.
Well, okay, so we have to remember we're talking about the Game Awards specifically, and this is Jeff Keighley's vanity project. And if we're talking about something like that an actual academy was voting on, like the way that they do for the Oscars or whatever, I think then your point would make a little, but not make a little more sense because it makes sense. I think your point would be a little bit more prescient or pressing. Yeah. But because this is the Game Awards, I don't think we have to worry about that all too much. So not for this particular entity. Like, we don't really need to have those kinds of considerations for this.
To qualify the whole discussion, I don't care for the Game Awards. I think that it's like whatever Kojima game comes out is going to be nominated for Game of the Year whenever it happens. You know, like I understand how it works, and I think that's fine. But in the grand scheme,
like this is a discussion that should be had for like DICE or IGDA or something like that. Not for this.
Yeah, Choice Awards.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Here's something I'm thinking about. Which games have the biggest gulf of experiential difference between their first player mode and their multiplayer mode?
I got distracted because I thought you said biggest golf.
Yeah. What's the biggest golf in video
And I think
games?
the biggest golf is probably Golden Tee because they have that big trackball. So and it's bigger than a regular.
Sure, but I mean, just a few shows ago, you were talking about an endless golf game. That feels
Desert
big.
Golf is a very big golf.
Desert
game.
Golf does have it ends after 27,000 some amount. But there is
that's huge.
Yeah.
Are you saying that's small?
So then maybe that's the biggest one. Or is it big?
That's bigger than Golden Tee. Let me tell you.
Or is it big physically? I think there was also a giant golf VR game where you were a giant. Anyway,
I think Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2005 is the golf game with the biggest number in the title.
I think that is the only video game my father has ever played. He owned a PlayStation 3.
2005 specifically?
Yeah, because after that it's shortened to 06.
No, I was talking about his dad. Not,
Okay.
Oh, probably because he owned a PlayStation. This is a game for the PlayStation 3, right?
Let's see.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that was for PS2 still.
So he's an 06.
He owned a PlayStation 3, and he owned a Tiger Woods golf game, and that was the only game that he had for the system. And that's the only video game that, to my knowledge, he has ever played. And he bought all of that specifically so he could play the Tiger Woods golf game because my dad's a big golfer.
Wow.
Cool.
That's fun when that
Wasn't
happens.
there a golf MMO at some point? Maybe that's the biggest golf game?
I know of What the Golf and Golf with Friends.
Pangya. Yeah.
Oh.
Out of Korea. What was the real question?
Yeah, and can you explain it?
Biggest gulf between single player and multiplayer experience.
Yeah, I'm talking, games that feel the most different between their single player and multiplayer modes.
Ah, yes. Well, the first thing that comes to mind, which is not the right answer, is like the Mario Party and Hudson Party type games are one because when you play against the computer, it is very different from playing in real space against your friends. So there, any kind of game like that, like Smash, like fighting games, those are all...
Yeah, but they still simulate the same game.
They do. Yeah, so that's why I said it's not the right answer.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, I can't think of right answers because I just never select the multiplayer option on any game that I own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, this isn't the biggest, but here's another one that actually does have a gulf, which is any multiplayer first-person shooter of the common era. The single player is a guided narrative experience where the multiplayer has dedicated maps, totally different modes. Your objectives are different. So those, I'm sure it's not the most.
No, that's the correct answer.
The widest gulf, but it's an answer anyway.
No, I think you're right because I can't think of anything else that is significantly transformed when you add more people to play. Like you have a single player campaign and then you have multiplayer, which is a completely different beast. So no, that's right. That's correct.
I think there's probably a lot of games where multiplayer is like its own mini game based on the game. You know, I just can't, nothing's coming to mind, but I'm sure there's a lot of that.
Yeah, I feel like in the 360 days, in the early days of Let's Internet, there was definitely like multiplayer was a weird little mode.
Yeah.
and other things happened in it that weren't the normal game, and then it got shut down after a few months. But none of them are coming to mind at the moment.
That's time. For our next topic, I want to revisit something we bumped up against a couple episodes ago. 2 episodes ago, because somebody misspoke, we accidentally proposed a product in passing called the Nintendo Listo, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it. So please describe the features of this product for me.
Wait, what's the Listo?
The Nintendo Listo. We're making up what the Nintendo Listo is. So
I'm thinking it's like Nintendo's Notes app. Is that
yeah,
what
that's
it is?
exactly where I'm going. Yeah, because Nintendo, has a history of making products to improve your life playfully.
Mm.
We fit brain training, stuff like that, right? The Alarmo. Honestly, I remember back in the Wii days, I was trying to imagine other things they might do, and I imagined like some kind of shower buddy that like encouraged you to wash yourself and recorded your naked body on camera. And
very cool. Yeah. It only works if you shower alone, though.
That's no. You get extra points if you don't.
The multiplayer version doesn't work
because
the same way.
You get extra points because you're conserving water. See?
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's a dedicated little tablet device.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say, bring back the Palm Pilot, essentially.
Yeah, I think it's a fun Palm Pilot made of nothing.
And it's a planner that has a bunch of fun little cute little voices in it. And it works because even in Spanish, where it's the Nintendo Listo, it's Listo means ready. So it's like you're preparing for your day and stuff. So it still
works.
Still works.
Okay.
Yeah, I like a little Nintendo tablet thing. They can like reuse one of their existing fun form factors. Like it can be a little DS reminiscent or Game Boy reminiscent, and people will buy it even if they don't want to use it.
The little tablet Link uses in Breath of the Wild and such.
Yeah, well, that's a Switch.
Well, that's just a Switch. Or it was a Switch.
Yeah,
Wasn't it a Switch?
It was a Switch.
It's Switch-like.
Yeah, it's Switch-esque. And then they made skins that made it look more like the Breath of the Wild thingy that he carries around. But yeah, I think I totally think a day planner, an event planner, it syncs up to your calendars and stuff. And then
I don't know about it syncing to anything.
Yeah,
I can't imagine Nintendo like it has its own distinct
it's got its own. It's in its own ecosystem. And then when a birthday you've entered comes up, Mario says a happy birthday or something like that.
I like your impression, Mario. That's really good.
That's what he sounds like.
But yeah, it's like that. It encourages, like it celebrates your crossing things off of your task list. Like you get really fun like sounds and explosions and stuff. It feels really good.
Like when you get a star in Mario Galaxy or something.
When you complete like a list of tasks, it goes do 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 or something.
Right.
And it like unlocks like I don't know a piece of a puzzle or something. Right, like there's constant like progression.
You should be able to pay
3DS.
You should be able to. The mini game on it should be Picross, because it's so
you mean
like
Picross?
I don't, but
okay. Are you sure?
I'm 100%.
No, it's got to be Picross.
No, it's Picross.
It is Picross because it's pixels crossing. But
I don't think that's how that's supposed to go.
It is.
How do you think it goes?
Okay, so I've always called it Picross because I never heard it spoken. Because it was like, pi, like 3.14 and cross. But I always thought it was...
what does that have to do with the game?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I didn't say it had anything to do with the game. That's just how I pronounced it. But not pixels crossing. But wasn't it like something crossword? Like picture crossword, not pixels crossing.
Picture crossword would still be pick cross, though.
I understand. Yeah. I understand the logic.
Okay.
I just disagree with it. That's all it is.
What do you have against soft eyes, Ash?
A lot of things, but the way that I look at it when I see PI like that, like it's pi. It's 3.14 to me. I don't know why it's been a thing. Don't worry. Like I understand what it's supposed to be, but this is like Ashley lore where I would get in fights all the time when I used to work at Kotaku with John Walker, who was a guy who worked in the UK, and I think he like either founded Rock Paper Shotgun or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he worked with us when I was there at Kotaku, and we would fight all the time about the fact that no, Ashley, it's picture crossword, so it's pit cross. I'm like, no, it's pi cross, and then that was like we would fight all the time about it.
My college girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, who I already didn't like,
That's a lot of degrees
yeah, I
of
know.
relationship.
Pronounced, he said Kokobo instead of Chocobo.
Oh, that's bad.
And I was like, where are you getting this from?
What happened to that H?
Where'd the H go? And why is it the same then as the C that comes after? Don't make no sense.
I guess my personal pronunciation bugaboo is that I always call game facts game FAQs. I don't like facts.
I think
doesn't work for me.
I think it's fine to do either one of those, frankly.
Yeah.
Well, that answers that question. I think we've built a Nintendo Listo.
We bought the Listo and it's got Picross on it, and it's and I want one because I need more. If you can like download new Picross files, then I'm there. I need a dedicated Picross machine.
I think they should steal the thing that the Playdate was going to do and I think canceled, which is like desktop clock mount for it.
Oh yeah, that would be great for the Playdate. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the what is it, the Listo?
The Listo,
Yeah, Listo.
yes.
I almost called it the Listicle. Ew.
Oh, no.
But I think that's where that goes. I think there's always a charging dock and it basically becomes your desk clock. I think Nintendo's good at
That's what the Listo emulator is called.
By the way,
Listicle.
for people who don't know, what a listicle is, it is a list article. That is I don't know if regular persons use it. It is industry
It's a journalism term.
terminology for an article that you have to write sometimes.
Yeah.
We're doing all of the entomology today.
I think the best one from like insert credits deep lore is we came up with the concept of top 10 angriest birds in video games.
Yeah.
I still really like.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty hot.
Entomology, huh? We're talking about bugs here, Ash?
Yeah, we're ISO posting.
Yeah.
Et, or is it
It's
et
et.
is word? It's
Et is for
okay.
words, ent is for bugs.
And trees.
This is going to be the new thing that Ash argues about for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, before we get away from the pronunciation, how do you pronounce the video game?
The forum?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, good question.
Reset era? Reset era? I don't know.
I say reset era.
I didn't know for the longest time, and I'm curious to hear how
the real answer is Resetera. The guy who put it together made a video with his full face saying it's Resetera. I don't like that though, but luckily I don't go there, so it doesn't matter.
I don't go there.
I say
either.
Reese Terra.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Resetera. It's
All right.
two Final Fantasy
I
characters.
say reset era because I speak English and those are two English words.
Exactly.
So it's reset era.
Yeah, Resetera.
Okay, now we can move on.
Pi
Thank you.
is not a word, but pie is a word. Now you're coming around to the Ash side.
Thank
Oh,
you.
God.
See?
Yeah.
You understand.
I don't condone it, but I understand it. We'll be right back after a quick break.
Which one is that?
This is Saber.
Oh, okay.
She's
Doc Wars.
she's
That's
just a little doggy.
Welcome back to Insert Credit. It's time for us once again to stare deeply into the question hole. You can participate.
Wait.
Yeah?
Sorry, I have something that we have to address. I know we're trying not to bring all the dark history back in every single episode, but we have to address Frank's terrible thing from last week where he invented
Where I told the truth.
the death of a Hanson brother.
Oh, right!
None of the Hanson brothers are dead.
Are you trying to censor me?
Oh, wow. A surprise Brandon's apology segment, but forcing it on. Oh, my God. This is unprecedented.
That's right. No Hanson brothers are dead, so don't worry. But
Not yet.
There's some Hanson brothers for like a hockey team of Hanson brothers.
No.
Some of those are dead.
No. The actual explanation for what happened is much better.
What is
Yeah.
it?
I was quickly
Let's hear it.
Googling, trying to figure out which person died. Was it a kid from the one kid band with the long blonde hair or from Hanson? And I searched Hanson brother dead. And indeed, a Hanson brother from band died. It was a Hanson brother from a band called the Hanson Brothers,
oh.
Which is not Hanson.
which is not Hanson. Someone named Jensen and the Hanson brothers died in a house fire in 1995.
Poor guy, Jensen
Yeah.
Hansen.
Let's go back to the question hall. This is the part of every episode where I go to the fine list of questions I've received through patreon.com/insert credit, where for mere dollars a month, You can ask us your questions, get monthly bonus episodes, and other neat stuff. Hey, you want 50 more episodes of Insert Credit? We just hit our 50th bonus episode. So
Nice.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff behind that pretty meager paywall. You don't have to do a lot to get there. It's a good time.
Never been a better value.
Never been a better value. This week's question comes from Farrell, who asks, what are your favorite completely missable areas in video games?
I love a missable area. Well, the first one that comes to mind to me is, as always, the bit in Metal Slug 3 where you can get into an underground area where there's all the POWs from Metal Slug don't realize the war is over, and it's sort of like a self-referential thing to the Japanese soldiers who were left on various islands in the Philippines and didn't know or believe. Like when people told them, dropped leaflets over them to tell them the war was over, they were like, this is propaganda. I've been trained to know that this is propaganda. The war's not over. I'm still fighting. Anyway, a bunch of those guys under there, and they've built like little shrines, and there's planes going along on rails. It just feels like you found a neat place that you weren't supposed to stumble onto. I like that one.
I'm going to do an answer that's probably going against the spirit of the question, but is a pretty genuine answer for me, which is that in Sonic the Hedgehog 2,
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, completely inaccessible through gameplay, is a level called the Hidden Palace Zone, which is already very compelling because it's hidden.
Yeah, I mean, Hidden Palace Zone, you want to go there.
Right. This is a level that was previewed in magazines that I read at the time. And so, to my mind, it was a level that was in this game. And it's, long story short, it's a level that was cut from the game. But there are remnants of the code still in the cartridge. You can kind of like Game Genie your way into a very broken version of it. It is playable technically on like earlier versions of the game, like preview ROMs that were sent to magazines that got pirated online. But it's something that like captured my imagination as a child and many other imaginations as children. And it really kind of, I think, sparked the entire like reverse engineering scene for old games. Like that all really starts with like people trying to figure out how to hack into the Hidden Palace Zone. And in fact, the largest wiki on the internet for documenting pre-release versions of games trying to find interesting things is in fact hiddenpalace.org. So
I met the owner of Hidden Palace.
Me too. And he messaged me immediately and said, I met Brandon at a party.
Yeah, it was at a party, and we had no idea who the other person was. It was very funny. Yeah. At a Halloween party, no less.
Hidden Palace is a zone that I think was either revived for either 3 or Sonic and Knuckles. Is it the same thing?
Well, yeah. So it does end up in 3 because really Sonic 3 is like the version of Sonic 2 that they meant to make. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Like there were production issues. They kind of got Sonic 2 out in the state that it was in, but then all the ideas that they had for 2 that they couldn't get in, they pushed into 3. But maybe more interestingly is that Sonic 2 that was ported by Christian Whitehead, I think, for like mobile phones and the Sonic Mania team. They did a Sonic 2 port where they added in the Hidden Palace Zone, like sort of back into the game, but had to make up the map and the boss and enemies and stuff like that. They sort of made it up. That version is what's on that Sonic Origins collection.
Oh, cool.
And every other version of Sonic 2 is delisted. You cannot play Sonic 2 without the like retconned in fan fiction version of Hidden Palace Zone.
Yeah, this is some comic book continuity shit.
Yeah.
This is the post-crisis Sonic 2.
Yeah, this is a weird like Ouroboros situation where like
So if I wanted to buy Sonic 2 right now, brand new, it would be this version with Hidden Palace?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's think wild. Technically there's that Steam package where you can buy Genesis ROMs, but it's about to be delisted.
Yeah, they're delisting
Yes, because I did see they're delisting a bunch of that.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
So the only way to play Sonic 2 legally at this point is to play the retcon version that adds in some fan fiction.
Or buy an old Genesis cartridge, but yeah.
Who has the time?
Yeah, who has the time? Who has the time?
So not only is it a weird hidden level, it was so hidden and that it, like that fans like not only willed it into existence, fans like positioned themselves to be the arbiter of Sonic the Hedgehog classic game lore.
They erased the version where it was
They got inside of Sega and they like fixed this historical oversight.
Yeah.
By putting this level back in, and now it's in forever and you can't escape it.
10 years from now, they're going to release Sonic 2 Classic, and it's just not going to have Hidden Palace in it.
Crystal Pepsi.
Okay.
My answer is also Sonic-based.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I can't think of anything else.
Sonic is based.
He is. I think it's Sonic 3,
Mm-hmm.
where
We'll
it's
know.
not necessarily... Yeah, he'll know. It's not necessarily like a hidden area, but it is inaccessible if you do not collect all of the Chaos Emeralds. And it's that final sequence, like after
The
you beat,
Doomsday
like,
Zone, baby.
Yeah, where you like are flying through the air as Supersonic, like catching up to Dr. Robotnik to catch him. And I always thought that was like so cool. Like it was really hard when I was a kid to get all of the Chaos Emeralds. So like getting all of them and then getting that special like final like flight chase thing, like it's not, you don't really need a lot of skill to like defeat it or anything like that. It's not like super special, but it was special to me.
But it was supersonic.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Did you know it was coming?
No.
Yeah, I also had the experience where I was just collecting the emeralds because I didn't have anything else to do.
Yes.
Because I owned like 2 video games.
That's so cool.
But I just beat it like I normally did, just and then just suddenly there was another level.
You're like,
and
holy
I just
shit,
like screamed. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I had never heard of that happening to anyone before going into that game without knowing Supersonic. That's crazy.
And again, this is like one of the only games I played, period, for like months. Like I knew that game inside and out, and just all of a sudden there's another level.
Yeah.
Which, that was crazy. Yeah, good answer.
To complete the trifecta, I just want to mention Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Specifically, there was this quirk in the game where, like, because of poor coding, you would get, like, stuck in a wall somewhere. And what was great about that was that the instruction manual for Sonic the Hedgehog was like, Dr. Robotnik set up some traps throughout the world.
That's 3,
okay.
Jaffe.
Oh, well.
That's Sonic 3.
Oh, well. Yeah, that's on me.
Is that in reference to like the Robotnik boxes that you can hit?
No. It's like the manual explains away a bug they couldn't fix by saying sometimes you fall into Robotnik's trap and get stuck in the geometry.
That's
And you just have to restart. It's very...
Robotnik is still building those traps in games to this day. I fell into a Robotnik trap in Star Wars Outlaws the other day.
Bless it.
Every time you got to be like, Eggman!
So uncharacteristic for me, I'm going to talk about Mario for a second.
Okay.
Because I found the warp zone in the first Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Accidentally by myself because I was like, I wonder if I can get up on top of here, and then I could. And to me, that was like, well, what else could be in these? Like there's stuff all around the borders of this game, I guess. That was fun. It gave me the idea that it's possible there's an endless amount of stuff in all of these, and I just don't know how to access it. Like they built it in all directions, and I just don't know about it. And that's sometimes true.
Our last question on the docket here today is, what is the Morbius of video game?
it was on the docket. Okay. I believe, and I feel like I'm again apologizing for...
Before you answer this question, qualify what parameters you are using to
welcome to the Insert Credit Show, where we always interpret this however we want to.
Yeah,
I know. I'm curious as to how you are interpreting this, because to me, the Morbius
in this situation, go ahead. You explain.
Go ahead.
The Morbius of video games is a video game that was released that was terrible, like critically panned, but fans like memed it into popularity such that its publisher decided, okay, you guys clearly want this, based on what we're seeing, and we're going to give you more of it because we think that's what you want, but we have completely misunderstood everything around it.
Yeah, it was laughing at, not laughing with. So
So that is, okay, I'm going to take away Brandon's qualifier about that because it is a laughing with mine. But it is a situation where it's a game that didn't sell well, shouldn't have sold well, but got memed back into existence, and that game is Deadly Premonition. Game that I love.
That is the correct fucking answer, believe it or not. Jaffe, how did you interpret this question then, since you said that's not what you were thinking?
I mean, what's interesting about Morbius is that it exists because of a very weird, trademark copyright situation. It's like, what can we like get to the rights to?
So
and
I was
do on
going
our own?
a little more in that direction with Callisto Protocol, where they didn't have the rights to
Dead Space, but they had the Dead Space guy, and they let the Dead Space guy be in charge of a thing, and people were like, "Oh, it's the Dead Space guy." Oh, okay, I'm speculating here about how this game wound up, how it did, but it feels like people were unwilling to question the direction because it wound up very poor, and it did not it sold well enough because of all the advertising spend, but I don't think it made its money. But I don't know. It's not 1-to-1 with Morbius because there's no license involved in the same way.
This just occurred to me, but I think I do have the canonical answer because it also does involve Sony wondering, like, what can we get away with? And that's PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. We want to do a Smash Brothers, but we don't have any video game characters people like. So, I don't know. Let's put that princess in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a little different because it's more of an anthology. That would be more of like a Suicide Squad type scenario, I feel.
Yeah, that might be the Sinister Six of video games.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't have an answer to this question. I think Deadly Premonition is the closest that I could have ever come up with.
Yeah, because I mean, it got like quote unquote remastered, except not at all. And they made a sequel that I don't think anyone bought, unfortunately.
Yeah. But people love Deadly Premonition.
But I love that game. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that it was bad. I'm saying that it is a game that shouldn't have succeeded and didn't succeed. That people willed into like convincing someone that it was something worth investing money in. Turned out that wrong.
Yeah, the remaster for
what was the publisher? It was like something Star,
Rising Star,
Rising Star.
Yeah, Rising Star.
Yeah.
The developer of the port for the remaster was Corcel, which is a Thai developer that I worked with on Wicked Monsters Blast on the Wii. It was very funny because, like, I know Swery very well. I knew him very well at the time, and I also knew the incredibly obscure Thai developer who was doing this port, but I didn't know any of that connection until afterward when it came out. I was like, oh, you did this? And anyway, that guy's now running a farm in Thailand.
Breaking. I just got a message from our editor, Esper Quinn, who says it's the Gollum video game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But did that get memed into like cult status?
Wait.
I think it did generate a lot of memes, that Gollum video game.
I think it's Aliens. Is it the Colonial Marines one where it has the the
that might be it.
Doot vibe, like she's going to go to the shopping.
Did they do something with it after?
Well, it became memed into people making videos about it and
but the point with the connection is that like fans tricked them into like spending a lot of money putting the movie back in theater.
I don't think they got tricked into spending more money.
Yeah.
It's true, but it did get memed back into public consciousness in a way that made it sell more copies. But I guess that's a little different. Bubsy.
There are Bubsy sequels for no market research reasons at all.
Yeah, I see that.
But that might be more of like a pure nostalgia-ish thing. It's like, people, what else do we have? What else is there in the past?
All right. The last thing I'm going to suggest is Dragon Age Origins because it has a Jared Leto song on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
A what? Wait. A what? A Jared Leto song? Dragon Age Origins?
That's right. This Is War by 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's his band.
The thing he does other than acting.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We learn all kinds of things here.
I'll live. I'm learning so much.
I think with that, it's time to go into our lightning round. I've shown an incredible amount of restraint not playing this game yet in this new era of insert credit, but it's time. It's time to play Archive of Our Own. I am on the video game fandom page of Archive of Our Own, the very popular fan fiction repository on the internet. And what I am challenging you to do today is to name a video game with the fewest number of fan fictions written about it as possible without being 0. If you hit a 0, you're penalized 100 points. We're going to do this in 4 rounds, and whoever has the lowest score at the end of 4 rounds wins the whole episode. gets a credit for their trouble.
It's going to take a few more of these before I live down my historic loss the first time we did it.
Truly one of the highlights of insert credit history here.
It's just such a disappointment.
And we're going to see how the game goes today.
Yeah, we will.
We are going to start with Frank.
Man, okay. So question about Archive of Our Own. When did it start?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. It's been around for a while, but not that long.
It was founded in 2008.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, not that there couldn't be earlier stuff, but that is a valuable data point.
Yeah, it launched in 2009 to the public. So keep that in mind.
Sure, but I mean, are people throwing like ancient fan fiction in there, or is it mostly new stuff?
But people still like old things today.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder.
I'm playing the game here, which is I'm trying to figure out something that was fan fiction-y for a minute in the 90s. You know what I mean?
All the categories will have like anything that people have put in there. So if you think, even though it launched, in 2008, it probably has like, I don't know, stuff from the 90s.
Don't help them out, Ash.
I would imagine that people, if they wrote something in the 90s and they're the kind of person that would like to share their fan fiction, that they would put it here now, even if they wrote it back then. That's just my guess, if they've got it still.
Okay. I don't think this is a great answer, but I just want to get things moving, and it'd be a funny callback. Show me Tenchu.
Show me Tenchu.
That's a good one.
Is, in fact, a very good answer. There are 5 Tenchu fanfictions.
Dang it.
It looks like one of them is a Naruto crossover, but that counts.
Yeah,
Counts.
All right, Frank's starting off strong with a 5-pointer. Ash, you're up next.
Okay. I don't know which way I want to go with this, because I could go with this the Japanese way or I can go with this the American way. But I feel like taking a risk going the Japanese way. But I'm gonna full send it, but I'm probably gonna be wrong. Osu Tatakai Oendan.
Oh man.
Oh.
Elite beat agents in English?
Yes.
Yeah, but I think she's specifically saying it's got to be the Japanese one.
Osu.
Yeah. Those are different. Yeah.
They are different things?
It's not just a new name. Like, they completely redid everything.
Yeah.
That they're
So Oendan. Ouendan.
Yeah, I see that. All right, show me Osu Tatake Oendan. That is 13. There are 13 Osu Tatake Oendan.
Okay, so now I'm curious.
Yeah.
What is Elite Beat Agent? Did I make the right choice is the question.
You did make the right choice. There are slightly more Elite Beat Agent fanfictions, yes.
All right.
That means I couldn't Price is Right you, though, because we checked it now. So that's too bad.
Way to block it.
Yeah.
Some very good strategizing there that maybe I shouldn't have allowed, but you have 13 points now. Brandon, you're up.
Okay. I don't want to bust on the first one. The things that I'm thinking of are kind of... I've been thinking about, like, what are games that were popular but didn't get a lot of sequels? And so I'm going to try... I hope this is not a 0. I'm going to try Bushido Blade.
Okay. Ooh, interesting.
The characters are not what Bushido Blade is known for, which is where I could get into some real trouble, and this could be a 0.
Yeah, show me Bushido Blade. There are 3 Bushido Blade fanfictions. Very good. Also some Naruto crossover there.
Of course.
Yeah, and that takes us to round 2. Frank, you're up again. You're in second place right now with 5 points.
Okay. Got 2 pretty good ones. I'm going for thing that I have 2 that were like pushed heavily, but no one talks about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna play close to home here, considering where I am. Show me Death Jr.
Okay. Show me Death Jr. Ooh, I'm sorry. I think you just busted on Death Jr. There is no Death Jr.
No Death Jr.
Oh, 0? There's 0? Oh my God.
Yeah. So that what adds 200, right?
That adds 100.
100. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Frank is at 105.
That had like an Image comic series and everything.
Yeah.
Like
they really tried to make it a thing.
They really tried. They sold Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Death Jr. was something that was done when Other Ocean was under Foundation 9.
No,
it was not Other Ocean. It was Backbone.
Still Backbone.
Yeah, still Backbone.
It was an original IP that they did for Konami. And you were Death's son, Death Jr.
Yeah.
It had a PSP version and an Xbox version that didn't come out, and PS2
Well, no, they had sequels. It was just PSP, the first one, and then I don't know, like Wii and stuff.
Okay, but there was an Xbox version.
Yeah, the original was Xbox, but I think they got like a PS contract. Yeah,
Right.
But they couldn't get a single person to care enough to write fanfiction.
That's
know.
crazy. Like comic written by Gary Whitta, who like writes Star Wars movies and stuff now.
Gary Whitta.
Yeah. That's,
He hadn't written a Star Wars movie yet at that time.
Yeah.
So they didn't know that.
All right, Ash, you're up.
I have a weird strategy for this, so bear with
Okay.
me. Let's take a look at what they've got going on. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice.
I think I guess choosing newer could also be
Show me
a thing.
Sekiro.
Maybe people didn't have time.
Ash, I got bad news.
No, don't tell me I busted.
No,
It's
it's
worse.
just popular.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's popular.
There are 680
Oh,
Sekiro fanfictions. Yeah. You've I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was
Yeah,
going
you-
for like an idea like a game that is popular, but not doesn't necessarily lend itself to shipping and fan fiction.
Well, guess what?
Which is,
It did.
yeah, I guess so.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but those archive of our own writers, they found a way to
Self-insert.
put Naruto in Sekiro.
Of course.
Okay. Well, I can't lose now.
I mean, you can.
You
You very
can.
much can.
I could find a way to choose something incredibly popular, but I'm more likely to bust than do that.
How would you say busting makes you feel?
It makes me feel fine.
yeah. So
Bust enough.
It's anyone's game.
Okay,
Yeah.
600. I don't know. If I bust 4 times, that's still only 300. I mean, if I bust 3 times, it's only 300. I don't know how to do it. I'm not a mathologist, okay? Right, so I got to choose something. That's
how this
true.
works.
That's how it works. I have to choose something. Unfortunately, this is a little dangerous. It's a little on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best choices. That makes it most
Yeah.
fun.
I'm just gonna go for it because I'm legitimately curious how many there are for Shadow Hearts.
Ooh, good one. Show me Shadow
Shadow
Hearts.
Hearts could be 23. It could be 500.
Shadow
Yeah.
Hearts is 67.
Not too good.
Not
too bad.
great, but not terrible.
Yeah.
Considering the scores right now, pretty good. You're at an even 70 now.
Okay,
Still in the
okay.
lead. We start round 3 with Frank. You've got 105 points.
Okay. Oh, I'm down to 2 really. Okay, I might do the other one next.
Just do the really good
Um,
ones.
Yeah, I am doing the 2 really
Okay,
good ones.
good
Or
idea.
maybe they're terrible. I don't know. Maybe I don't know that there is a very thriving fan fiction community for Maximo.
Ooh, Maximo.
Maximo could. I feel
I
like
don't know, that
Maximo
feels like
could
that's
be
a
a bust.
Show me Maximo. Yeah, that's a bust. You got 100 points there. Sorry.
I mean,
about that,
that's the game, right? It's a good
Yeah.
game because
Yeah.
you have to live right on that edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a teeter totter.
Frank. On the edge of danger, yeah. All right. Frank has busted twice, but still...
If I reveal my strategy, which is clearly not working, everyone promises that I'm alone with the strategy. Don't copy my
Yeah,
strategy.
Considering
tell
your
us after.
success...
Don't copy
yeah.
that floppy.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to explain this because I think it's funny. So it's games that were pushed as if they were popular, but weren't actually popular.
Yeah.
And my criteria for finding those is covers of Dave Halverson magazine,
Oh
Play
yeah,
magazine,
that makes
Um,
sense.
where he ran Die Hard Game Fan, then he ran Play. And he just gave covers to games no one cared about. That only he liked.
He's best known for being kind of an early furry supporter before that was
Yeah.
really common parlance, and for being like completely the opposite of how everybody felt about every other video game, and for his drug fueled reviews,
Yeah.
where he was totally
Just
like,
the
I
once.
can see through time, just the once,
Yeah.
Just
but
the
it was
one.
enough.
He gave-
qualification.
Yeah, the explanation was that someone put LSD in his coffee, actually. And he
Okay.
reviewed an Atari Jaguar launch game and was just like, I see through time.
Yeah,
I think he might actually be best known for giving Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 a 9.5 out of 10.
yeah.
Oh,
So that's
he was
him.
high.
That's him
So-
going the opposite direction of everybody.
I'm looking specifically at covers of Play magazine,
Yeah.
which
That's a UK
lasted-
magazine, isn't it?
No, it is
No.
now, but this
Oh,
is a
okay.
different Play magazine. It lasted 97 issues. Okay, three covers for Death Jr.
Wow.
3 times. Yeah,
Which resulted in none fan fictions.
yeah, 0 fan fiction.
Ash, it's your pick.
I've got 2 choices. Go for the risky one again.
All right.
You have to at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slay the Princess.
Ooh, Slay the Princess. I played that game. I had a good time.
That was a great game.
Show me Slay the Princess. Bad choice, Ash.
Damn. Did I bust?
479.
Oh, okay. I'm picking shit that's too popular.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's too
fine.
popular. Yeah,
Okay.
you gotta get more niche
I gotta
here.
write it in. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Damn.
This is we're running right along the bust line here to use the parlance of fan
You got to
fiction.
play it safe, though.
Yeah.
Do I?
I think you should play it safe, otherwise you're going to lose. You should try to get something that you suspect is like 50.
Now, Brandon's way ahead. He only has
All
70
right, you do what you
points.
want.
I'm way ahead because I do have another that's like it could be 70. So I'm gonna go. This could be a bust, but I'm going Legend of Legaia.
Ooh.
Oh, I think that's going to be more popular than you think it is.
It
All right.
might be, but it's a one-off PlayStation 1 game.
My guess is it's hovering around 100, and this is a good.
All right. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legend of Legaia has 6 fanfics.
Boom.
Damn
Oh
it.
my God.
Yeah. One of them is in French.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Brandon's crushing it this
I wonder
time
how they
around.
pronounce Legaia over there.
Yeah.
All right. That brings us to our final round. Frank, what's your last
Somebody
pick?
buck up and get like a 6,000.
Yeah.
I choose Persona.
Have you considered Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
So I have no choice at this point other than to try to get something that has like, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play Magazine, issue 69,
Nice.
Heavenly
Nice.
Sword.
Heavenly
Oh, Heavenly
Sword.
Sword.
That's an interesting one.
That's probably around
Heavenly Sword's a good one.
95. This is my
That's
guess.
going to have a lot of God of War crossovers,
That's got a
I
lady.
bet.
It's got a lady on the front of it.
All right. I do see some harem fanfic here, but only 5 of them.
Wow,
It's
really?
a good pick. Yeah, just
Mhm.
5 Heavenly Sword fics.
That's surprising.
yeah.
That's
Interesting.
the Halverson effect.
Frank finishes with a strong 210.
All right.
Ash, it's your last chance to redeem yourself.
As you can tell, not doing very well. And I don't have the breadth of like obscure, but not that obscure video games as my other 2 opponents. So I'm working with what I got. Gonna be another risky one, but I'm gonna do it because who fucking cares? Let's do PlayStation All-Stars.
Hey,
Oh,
bring it
hey.
all back round. That could be a good choice,
The
I feel.
Peeber PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale has... well, first, do you want to guess how many Super Smash Brothers fanfictions there are?
5,000?
No, I do not.
6,000?
There are 4,149 Super Smash
All right, I
Brothers
was
fanfictions.
close.
That's
Just for
fine.
scale. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale has 33.
Oh, I should have.
Hey, nice.
Damn it.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a
Good one.
good pick.
All right, I did well.
Ash finishes with 1205.
Oh, God.
I think our highest score in arcade of our own history.
I really underestimated how many people cared about Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and it just went
Yeah.
downhill from there.
Brandon, the game is yours to lose.
Yeah, we've been here before. And the game I've been eyeing this whole time could go either way, and so I should probably just not do it. And I should...
If you bust, you're okay.
If I bust, I'm okay. So I think I'm going to aim for bust or incredibly low is what
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
aim for.
Correct.
And so I'm going with Kakuto Chojin, the Xbox exclusive fighting game. I think there could be 1 or there could be 0.
I think that's a 0.
That's a bust, Brandon.
All
But
right.
that's a sound strategy because you're more than 100 points ahead, which means you take the episode. Congratulations.
Yes.
You have won your first credit.
Woo! Spring break.
Yeah. You founded this website in 2001 and
I
you
finally got a credit.
cashed in. All right. That was a great game. I had a lot of fun.
I like this game. I like this game.
It's fun.
I think this is our new Violence Island, guys.
No, I like Violence Island too. Just so I know that there's been like
Interesting.
discussion.
We
of,
took a poll and I think I think we're sunsetting it.
Oh no!
Maybe in a year or something. We'll bring
Maybe
it
in
back.
a year or so. Yeah, but right now I think people are a little sick of it. Let's give them some time to miss it. For now, I would like to hear your recommendations and your plugs if you have any. Just things you think our listeners should check out.
Oh, yeah, the Rex.
Mine is long, so you guys have to go first.
I can do mine. It's really quick,
Go for
which
it.
is I kind of wanted to play an RPG, like a really comfortable one, like a warm blanket one. And I saw there was that remake of Dragon Quest III. I was like, maybe it's that. I watched the trailer again, and I was like, I don't think I like the way this art looks. I ended up playing Dragon Quest XI again, and I I don't know what my recommendation is here necessarily. It might be that game, but more specifically, I think it's like if you want to just turn your brain off and be extremely comfortable with like something that's not at all new, maybe lean into that right now. I think it's an okay time to.
Yeah. Especially right now.
Don't feel guilty about what brings you comfort. A similar thing just happened to me that I got Dragon Quest 3, the remake, Dragon Warrior 3 for the Game Boy Color being a very important game to me when I was a lad. But instead of booting it up, I downloaded Balatro and I've just been, I'm in it now.
That was another thing that I didn't get. Like, people were pissed that Balatro was nominated for like Game of the Year. And I'm like, it's a game. Like, what's the deal? Like, I don't understand what the hang up is about this. Like, is it because it is frequently played on phones that's the hang up?
It's tasty. It's real tasty.
I don't understand why people are upset about Balatro getting nominated for Game of the Year. It absolutely deserves to be there. And I say this as a person, like, I was a Balatro like freak for like maybe 3 weeks or a month.
Yeah.
It definitely deserves to be there. That's like a fucking inspired ass game. Like, kudos to that guy.
I'm in it.
I don't like it at all.
That's fine.
Do you not? Why do you not like it? Is it because it is?
I'm sure we'll discuss it during the Game of the Year thing, but
is it too good?
No. I asked early on, like, do you have to know about and care about card hands to enjoy this game? People said no. The answer is yes.
I still think the answer is no, because you have a handy, like, if you don't know what card hands are, like, they give you like a little shorthand thing, like, this is what a flush is and all that stuff.
I can look at a list on the side and then I can compare that list to the hand that I had. That's not fun to me. It's not fun.
Fair enough.
Anyway, we'll talk about that more later. I'm certain.
Yeah. I learned what the card hands were and basically how to play poker based on a mini game that was included in Super Mario 64 DS, where Luigi was your poker dealer. And I've been able to apply that knowledge to all the Yakuza games.
I need a Luigi Coupier. That's my problem.
Exactly.
Okay, so my recommendations, there's an album by Minako Yoshida called Dark Crystal. If you want to watch or listen to a lady who's approaching middle age sort of turn into a crystal-y witch in real time, that's kind of what that album is like. It's pretty fun. I also just rediscovered, every time I find this song, I really like it, the Ballad of Sacco and Vanzetti by Joan Baez. It's got Joan Baez and Ennio Morricone. Ennio Morricone wrote the music.
Wow.
Joan Baez sang the song. It's a sad, epic ballad about these two anarchists who were accused of murder and then executed, but had a very bad trial. It was in the 20s. One of them may have actually done it, but it doesn't change the fact that the trial was full of anti-Italian slurs and paid off judges and just like complete shenanigans and nonsense. So but it's a good song. Ballad of Sacco and Vanzetti, which is from a movie about them that Morricone scored. And then my last thing is, you may have seen there've been some fun like images going around about like crushing capitalism or whatever from the movie Hokkaido. Maybe you've seen it on your feeds, maybe you haven't. Anyway, there's a movie called Hokkaido, which is
not to be confused with Kikaider
or Hokkaido.
No, there's a lot of kaiders out there. Hokkaido is, I think it's Amemiya who did it, who's like who did the Zeiram movies and does a lot of these bigger, like very special effects forward tokusatsu movies. Anyway, there's a Blu-ray and it's really, really terrible quality. And I just feel like people should know that before they buy it. You can still buy it, but you should buy it real cheap because the quality is it's like sub DVD quality. You can see the artifacting in it. It feels like it was made from a print that someone scraped along the ground for about 5 years and then put through a mosaic adding filter. And there's no explanation for why it's that way on the Blu-ray. And so just so you know, you can still buy it. I bought it, but know that it is a terrible quality. The end.
I don't have a recommendation specifically. Rather, I have a direct appeal, and it's to Jeff Keighley. So,
yes, our dedicated listener, Jeff Keighley.
I know, Esper, like on my face, like as I recite this. So, Jeff, friend, I'm here to tell you that you have the capability to save the world, and I am deadly fucking serious. I don't ask for much. I actually don't ask you for anything, except for that one time where I asked you where the hell were all the women during that one Summer Games Fest, which I'm pretty sure that, combined with the other article I wrote about how you have completely failed the video game industry when you failed to recognize or acknowledge all of the layoffs in the industry, is the reason why The Verge is no longer a voting body in the Game Awards. But that's neither here nor there.
That's something else. That's
completely unrelated.
It's unrelated, right?
But I'm here to ask you for one specific thing. So, Metaphor ReFantazio has been nominated for a Game Awards.
ReFantazio.
Yes. And the thing with the Game Awards is, for Game of the Year specifically, is the Game Awards orchestra that they have that does musical performances throughout the show. They do this medley of all of the songs from the games that are nominated for Games of the Year. So with Metaphor ReFantazio being nominated for a Game of the Year, that means the song that will be featured will be the game's battle music. And if you've never heard that game's battle music, I need you to just stop the podcast right now and go look it up and listen to it. And it's the most fire fucking thing you've ever heard in your fucking life. It is incredible. And the thing that makes it incredible is that there's this Japanese monk that is chanting in what I think is Esperanto, which is that invented language that's supposed to be about unity and peace or whatever. It's a fake language that was recently invented. And by recent, I mean in the 1800s or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what show editor Esper Quinn is named after.
Seriously?
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. It's not. Don't do these.
Sorry.
Don't do this to me, because I am very credulous and I don't expect people who I think are my friends to lie to me. So don't do that.
I'm pretty sure Esper is actually named after a Magic the Gathering.
Yes, the Esper.
But there are 3 movies in Esperanto, though, and one of them stars Will Shatner.
How about
we
that?
know this. Yes, we are obligated to bring up Will Shatner anytime Esperanto is mentioned. Just in culture.
You have to do it.
Anyway, there's this Japanese monk chanting, and it's the best thing that you've ever heard in your life. So with the fact that Metaphor is going to be included in this medley, means that we have the opportunity to get that Japanese monk on the same stage as Flute Guy. Now, if you don't know who Flute Guy is, I need you to stop the fucking podcast and go look up Flute Guy, because
we've all seen the Hat Man. We all know the Flute Guy.
He is incredible. His name is Pedro Eustache. He is an amazing person that I have interviewed for The Verge. He is just this incredible performer who just full sends whatever he is doing at whatever time. And what I am telling you, Jeff Keighley, and don't tell me you can't do it, because you know every goddamn body. And that's the point of the TGAs anyway, for you to know and get to know everybody in the video game industry, because that's just what you do.
That's true.
You have the opportunity to put the Japanese monk chanting guy and Flute Guy on the same stage at the same time. And I am convinced the confluence of that energy will be enough to close the portal that Cat Williams opened back in January when he went on that podcast with Shannon Sharp, and just completely heal the world. You have the capability of saving us all. Don't fuck this up. Make this happen. And that is my recommendation.
Esper, I want you to find the worst MIDI version of Michael Jackson's Heal the World and play that in the background as an inspirational thing.
I'm going to say Cat Williams is a hero. Keep exposing the industry.
But
keep telling people stories.
He opened this portal to hell. And the rest of the year has just been this outpouring of demons and shit. And yes, things have been exposed that needed to be exposed.
It needed to come out,
yes.
Ash.
It's like lancing a boil. And we've got all the pus out now, and we need to close that shit up. And I think having Flute Guy and Japanese monk chanting guy on the same stage performing together is enough to do it. And Jeff Keighley, you have to do this.
I'm just saying, Quincy Jones is dead. Cat Williams is all we got.
I have to think about that.
Yeah.
You might, in terms of elder Black people that will tell it like it is, frankly like that, and just say shit you probably shouldn't say if you have enough media training or you actually give a shit. You might be right in that regard. Because Quincy Jones didn't give a shit. And Cat Williams also doesn't give a shit. I can't think of anybody else who does not give a shit on that level. Keke Palmer is close, but she doesn't have that elder status that
no.
Quincy Jones has.
come back in 20 years and
Yeah.
we'll see what's what. I've got some more recommendations. Just a few somethings. If you enjoyed this episode of Insert Credit, and I hope you did, because I sure did, please rate and review our show wherever and however you can. I'm talking iTunes. I'm talking Spotify. I'm talking YouTube. I'm talking archive.org, wherever you can find this thing. You can also support us directly with your donations.
Not archive of our own.
No, not yet.
I don't want to see anything in there.
I do. You can also support us directly with your donations on patreon.com/insertcredit. If you'd like to sponsor our show with an advertisement or personal message, or submit your own horrible buzzer, you can email me at show@insertcredit.com. You can also join our community at forums.insertcredit.com or find us on youtube.com/insertcreditshow. Find Ash Parrish at The Verge, wishlist Demon School on Steam, and make your tax-deductible donations to the Video Game History Foundation. This episode was edited by Esper Quinn, music by Kurt Feldman. This week's buzzer was once again submitted by Hens Benz. I'm Alex Jaffe.
I'm Frank Spaldi.
I'm Ash Parrish.
I'm Brandon Sheffield.
And your game has now been saved.
I appreciated that you had to account for loading time with that.
Yeah, we mentioned William Shatner earlier, and anytime he comes up, I gotta buffer a little bit.